What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Already got my Snoop Dogg on this morning, so I'm sure y'all know what that means. Yeah, and I got to get to it early every morning when it comes to sports related topics. I got to get there before Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. Oh, my bad, Max Kellerman got fired. We got to get there before Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and everybody else. I don't even know if Skip Bayless actually found a replacement yet. We're going to get into day 3 of the free agency. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about probably the James Harden, who he might get traded to, and which I don't think is going to be a difference maker, and Dame Lillard. So day 3, we had Eric Gordon signed with the Suns. I like that. I like Eric Gordon with the Suns. Bradley Beal goes to the bench, you bring in Eric Gordon. Devin Booker goes to the bench, you can bring in Eric Gordon. He can back up both of those guys. He can also facilitate, bring the ball up, play some point. Good shooter. I like Eric Gordon to the Suns. Eric Gordon almost at one point, people thought his career was going to be over, and he's come out to have a pretty good career for a guy that comes off the bench. Jordan Clarkson resigns or finalized extension for 3 years, $55 million. Um, I almost thought Jordan Clarkson would have went out there tested the market. He's a prime scorer, but I guess at this point he just wants to, you know, stay where he's happy and get the money. Bridges to sign qualifying offer. Charlotte Hornets forward Miles Bridges is prepared to sign Charlotte's 1-year qualifying offer for 2023-24. He probably didn't have a lot of offers out on the table anyways. One sec, I gotta drink some Kool-Aid. He probably didn't have a lot of offers out there, I'm thinking. Um, if I'm Charlotte, well, I didn't really know if I really didn't really want him back, But you got to give him 1 year. You got to prove him. That's the thing. When dudes do off court things, they get in trouble off the court. You still got to prove yourself once again all over on the court. These things go hand in hand. That's why there's a thing called moral clauses in these contracts and whatnot. Lonnie Walker agrees to 1-year deal with Brooklyn. Figured he wouldn't re-sign with the Lakers because the Lakers signed all those people that they pretty much signed yesterday and the day before. Corey Joseph agrees to a 1-year deal with Golden State. So I guess he's going to be the backup to the backup. I'm a little confused. I guess you would need Corey Joseph just in case Chris Paul gets hurt. Insurance for if Chris Paul gets hurt. And that sun's starting to come out. It's going to start beaming in my face. I like this one right here. Justin Holiday, 1-year deal with the Denver Nuggets. They had to replace Bruce Brown. I think Justin Holiday, he's not probably as good as Bruce Brown, but he could pretty much do a lot of the same things Bruce Brown could do. Plays defense hard. I like it. Because they still got Christian Braun, who I think will go into that spot. Former Charlotte Hornet Cody Zeller agrees to a 1-year deal with the Pelicans, who actually stole the Hornets and it became the Pelicans. New Orleans sold the Hornets and then they changed to the Pelicans, which is the worst name. I don't know why they didn't keep the Hornets. Because soon as Jordan saw the opportunity to get the Hornets back in Charlotte, that's the thing. People can sit there and poo-poo his ownership, totally, but he brought the Hornets back to Charlotte. That should be enough. The fact that he brought them back, as soon as he saw the opportunity to bring them back, Jordan's like, oh, got to bring them back. And the last one is Patty Mills reportedly headed to Oklahoma City from the Brooklyn Nets. It's good for OKC. Nice little veteran to have to back up Josh Giddey. You know, they were looking at. I was watching Bobby Marks yesterday. They were talking about, you know, Damian Lillard, and they were saying that more likely that the Heat won't be able to do a straight up trade with Portland. They're gonna have to probably bring another team in and move Tyler Hero. And I think that one's could get complicated. I mean, like, who right now could use Tyler Hero or could give up some pieces? That see, this is the thing. It's not that Tyler Hero's not young enough to fit with Portland. His contract doesn't fit with Portland and their timeline. They're basically about to. You talking about rebuild? They're about to go to all rookie contracts, pretty much. Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, and that's the thing. They already got Anthony Simons, so you know it's gonna be complicated. But and this is the thing. Somebody was saying like Big Jerk got mad because Bobby Marks was being straight up honest about how business goes in the NBA. Was saying that Dame Lillard, if you know, when they sat down and had that meeting, he should have just asked out then, and he should have, because he knew he wanted out. He knew Jeremy Grant wasn't going to push the needle, and he should have asked out before they signed Jeremy Grant, so they could possibly decide if they don't want to sign Jeremy Grant, because they're signing Jeremy Grant because Dame wants veterans. So I'm with Bobby Marks on that. At this point now, the way Dame Lillard, like the fact that he didn't ask for a trade when they sat down, and now a week later he does, you're not obligated to have to send him to Miami so he can kick his feet up in the sand. You're not obligated to have to do that. You know, because he should have, did it. The professional thing would have did it. And the decent thing to do would have been when you had that sit down to just come out and say, hey, you want to be traded, man. Like, I think this comes from this world we live in where people act like they can't say what they feel because they don't want to offend people. They want to, they're too concerned with hurting people's feelings, and, they're too concerned with, appeasing the people's feelings. We're getting to this dishonest state in society where people are willing to lie just so you appease somebody's feelings, just so they can feel happy about themselves. And Dame Lillard is kind of from that generation. Like, if you want to be traded, just say you want to be traded, man. This idea that I don't want to be the bad guy. Nobody would have thought you as the bad guy if you would have sat down at that meeting and said, hey, I want to be traded. You know why? Because I heard countless people on sports debate shows say, hey, Scoot Henderson and Dame Lillard cannot coexist. It cannot coexist. Everybody heard that. Everybody knows that. Anybody with common sense and common knowledge in basketball knows that. It's not going to, they can't coexist. It's not going to work. It's time for Dame to move on. But he want to try to be, I don't want to be the bad guy. But now you kind of look somewhat like the bad guy because you should have just told him before when you sat down. And that's why Bobby Marks said that. Now they're not obligated to have to, send him wherever he wants to go. Now they're just obligated to get the best package because you could have told them that before they signed other players. That's the whole point. We're signing this veteran because you want a veteran. You want veterans. We just sat down a week ago and you're like, hey, you're gonna see what this is. We signed one player and you're like, up, gotta go. You knew what it was before. You knew they wasn't gonna get these top dudes on the market. You knew it wasn't gonna happen. You knew none of these top free agents would want to come to Portland. Stop it. I mean, they got Jeremy Grant in the trade. And just basically, that's the thing. The way these deals are set up, once you leave a team in free agency for the first time, you can't make as much money. The amount of money that you can make just goes down. Unless you're traded. Jeremy Grant was traded. You know what I'm saying? So under that contract still applies when he gets traded. And he could get so much with that team. But if he leaves that team for free agency, you can only get so much. How much you could get goes down. No matter how much the team wants to offer you, they can only offer you so much. Because these collective bargain agreements are set up that way. They're incentivized to try to make people to keep superstars in small markets. That's why they're incentivized to keep superstars in small markets or keep teams in the market of the team that drafted him. You know, and for a while in sports, I don't think you could even go to other teams but the team that drafted you. You know, James Harden. James Harden opted ask out, and apparently they had a wink deal, as they call it, where he was going to take less money so they could bring in PJ Tucker and Daniel House Jr. And then they would give him more money on the back end. Well, that was until you quit on the fucking team, man. You fucking jackass. Like, you got to be the biggest fucking hypocrite on the planet to now expect them to open up the floodgates when you quit on the fucking team. The whole world saw it. Everybody that was watching saw it, man. I mean, you were literally in the Celtics series. You had two amazing games, but every other game was the complete exact opposite of amazing. It wasn't even like middle ground. It was just like you were completely amazing or complete shit. Complete shit. And you were more complete shit than you were completely amazing. James Harden is not a winner. Not a winner, chicken dinner. He does it, I don't trust a guy who doesn't play hard on both ends. I can't call a guy great that doesn't play hard on both ends. I could call you a great offensive player. James Harden is a great offensive player, but do I think he's a great player? No, I don't. Yeah, he went to Houston. Yeah, he changed the franchise around. He got them to the playoffs every year. But that's it. That's it. I mean, LeBron, look at what LeBron James did for the Cavs. Not only did he just get them to the playoffs every year with a bunch of scrubs, he got them to the finals. And yeah, they got swept. Of course, they should have got swept by the Spurs. It was LeBron and Boobie Gibson. Like, what are we talking about here? James Harden is just a great offensive player. If you don't play great on both ends of the floor, I can't say you're a great player. Jimmy Butler is a great player. That's why, like, Michael Jordan is the gold standard. You know why Michael Jordan is the gold standard? As much as I love Magic and Bird, I love Magic and Bird. The NBA would not be what it is today without Magic Bird. No Magic Bird, no NBA. Michael Jordan worked probably 10 times harder than Magic and Bird. And maybe he had to. Maybe he just had to. Maybe Michael Jordan's gift wasn't that he could just, he could jump through the gym. You definitely could jump through the gym like Magic and Bird combined couldn't even do. He could jump through the gym. But that's just not enough. That's not enough for you to just win championships. I mean, he had to work on his mid range. He had to work on his defense, his dribbling. Michael Jordan worked on every single aspect of his game tremendously. And then his body, like, stayed in shape. Like, Magic Johnson wasn't, and Larry Bird were nowhere near in shape as Michael Jordan. That's why Michael Jordan is the gold standard. He's the GOAT. Everybody wants to be like Mike because nobody was working out like Mike. Mike was working out like Bo Jackson in basketball. Nobody was doing that at the time. They weren't working out like Bo Jackson in basketball. And Mike come in and just every single aspect of the game. Like, Larry Bird was a good defender because he played defense. He dove for everything. He was like Pete Rose. He just played super hard. But Michael Jordan really just played super hard, and he just mastered dominant defense. He mastered dominant defense. It's still questionable who was the better defensive player, Pippen or Jordan. We know who the better offensive player was. I know Pippen thinks he was better than Jordan. And if he so much was, he could have just tried to take over games like Jordan. He could have had the mentality that Jordan had. The ambition. I think ambition is the number one thing that's missing in society. Ambition. And Michael Jordan is always going to be the gold standard because, nobody worked as hard as he did until he came in the league. Pippen was only working hard as he was because he was on Mike's team. I would argue if Pippen was on some other team, he might not even work as hard as he did. When you're on Mike's team, you had to work hard. Back then, man, there was a lot of Mikes dominating. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Mike Tyson. There was a lot of Michaels dominating. Everybody want to be like Mike. Mike Jordan, and Mike Tyson. It's crazy. James Harden. Go get your money. Go lose some more games. Never win a championship. You're gonna go far down on that list of players who never won a championship. Because I'm not gonna put you over no Patrick Ewings and Charles Barkley's and John Stockton's and Karl Malone's and none of those cats. Can't do it. Can I do it? I'm not gonna be able to do it. Not gonna be able to do it. Double X Posse, man. Not gonna be able to do it. Once again, thank you for tuning in, Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out.